Minutes ago, a U.S. District Court of Appeals in the District of Columbia in Washington, D.C., has come out with this ruling on TikTok. TikTok needs to divest, and before it has a timeline till the 19th of January 2025, and if it fails to do that, then it will be taken off the air. That is my understanding. I have a slide deck that tells you everything you need to know. This is just like minutes out. You have done a fantastic job. My team, I'm really happy that my team spent, like, literally seconds to put together this video, this slide deck, and it's amazing, guys. Please like this video because this is really literally hot off the press. The court has upheld a US ban on TikTok. I don't know how many of you remember, but President Biden had in fact said that there'll be a ban on TikTok. They were given a certain amount of time to divest their holding, failing which they would go off air. And all this happened because of something that Trump initiated. How many of you know that from his previous term? So a lot of things are happening now. I'm just going to walk you through this stuff. Please like this video, and if you have not subscribed to our channel, do subscribe. So a federal appeals court upheld a law banning TikTok unless it is sold by its China-based parent company ByteDance, citing national concerns. Their goose was cooked when the Federal Communications Commission chairman, FCC chair, had written to both Google, that is the division that runs Android, as well as to Apple, telling them to stop offering downloads of the TikTok app from these two platforms. And he had said that we have conclusive evidence that data profiles of the users is being leaked out and being stored in China. China has everything they need to know about every citizen that lives inside the Chinese territory, but now they have been venturing out. This is the exact reason why India banned TikTok many years ago. You have to understand that India, being a democracy, they were smart enough and they had the spine to ban 132 Chinese apps, because all of them, they said one way or the other, was leaking information back to mainland. Amazing that it took so long for the United States to do the same thing. And one of the reasons given was that they said the Democrats were afraid that if TikTok is banned, then the youth will not vote for their party. Well, the youth did not vote for them, and now you see the results. Anyway, so what was the reason? They said it had the expansive reach as a reason for the divestment's importance. Now, I'm going to walk you through the ownership of this, because people will say, oh, no, TikTok, the TikTok, which is ByteDance, the company that owns TikTok, is not based in China. Let me tell you how it is. Okay, it's very confusing. The founder of TikTok is a person by the name of Yiming Zhang, YIMING ZHANG, and he is a Chinese national. Okay, now ByteDance itself is incorporated in Cayman Islands. Now it has a wholly owned, that is 100% owned subsidiary called TikTok Limited, and TikTok Limited has jurisdiction everywhere except China. See, this is the biggest problem. What you see outside China as content on TikTok is not what you see inside China. People say that TikTok China, or the version of TikTok in China, is a very useful platform, makes things easy for children to understand, a very educational channel. Whereas outside, short videos, they made it very popular, but RISQUE. If you remember Maine Pyar Kiya, mini, midi, micro, oof, that sort of videos. I mean, I don't have TikTok, but I've heard about this. Sometimes these things find their way through other social media platforms, but TikTok has really become the thing that attracts youth. And I think their format is either portrait or square. I'm not 100% sure, but whatever it is, they found that niche audience, 1 to 3 minutes or 1 to 5 minutes, and they really captured that market. In fact, YouTube was forced to come up with YouTube Shorts. And I think same thing in Meta platform also. It's called Reels, if I remember correctly. Just to give you a background. Okay, now getting back to TikTok Limited. TikTok Limited is the one that owns the product outside of China. Now, TikTok Limited has a subsidiary called TikTok LLC based in California. And that itself has another one called TikTok Incorporated, also based in California. So somehow these people are trying to make the thing look like, oh, ByteDance at that time was incorporated in Singapore when they were going through the case. Now they have moved it to Cayman Islands. Whatever it is, somehow they did this dance and song sequence to try and make it look like TikTok was not Chinese based. It definitely is Chinese based. That has been proved beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm going to give you the conclusion part of the judgment in just one moment, and just want to give you other things like, how did this come about? Do you know that there were 8 individuals who are petitioners in this case? 8 individuals. I think what happened here today might, something similar like this might happen in India also, where 7 or 6, I don't remember exactly, individuals have sued YouTube India for promoting some and for shadow banning some. That is also going to come up, but Indian courts are slow. I hope they pick up the pace on that one. Next slide, please. Okay, so here is the judgment. The arguments were done in September 16, 2024, and it was now decided on December 6. That is, the judgment got issued today. And if you look at the judges, it makes very interesting reading. We're going to give you a link to the entire judgment. It's 92 pages. Do take a look at it. You'll understand how the process of establishing ownership was arrived at, how the process of reason for divesting, that means to sell its stock, had been arrived at. It's a fantastic judgment. Let me just read you this part. We recognize, this is the conclusion part, page 65. We recognize that this decision has significant implications for TikTok and its users. Unless TikTok executes a qualified divestiture by January 19, 2025. Qualified divestiture means selling off its stock, or the president grants a 90-day extension based on progress towards a qualified divestiture, its platform will effectively be unavailable in the United States, at least for a time. See how the date has been chosen very cleverly, 19th January. You know why? Because Trump comes into office on the 20th and he can choose to do it differently. This might be one of the last decisions that Joe Biden will take. This burden is attributable to the PRC's hybrid commercial threat to US national security, not to the US government, which engaged with TikTok through a multi-year process in an effort to find an alternative solution. Now, one of the arguments that they said was that, look, TikTok is not storing any data. It is all being stored on Oracle servers, and Oracle has all access to our data, blah, 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 blah. So the judges saw through all that stuff. So that's why I'm saying it's a fascinating judgment, because there were several layers that were placed in front to try and hide and obfuscate what TikTok is, what ByteDance is, who is owning that, who are the real owners, all that stuff. And the judges saw their way clear through that. It's amazing. I mean, this takes a fair amount of application of mind, if you will. The ruling supports the administration's effort to address perceived risks from a foreign-owned tech. Actually, I should tell you one thing. I'm trying to look for my book. I had written about this 4 years ago as to what was happening in TikTok. And if you read this book, you'll understand how the data got leaked. Because it's not isolated to only one thing. There were many American companies also whose data also got leaked. So this is not a trivial matter. China has a lot of information about a lot of us, not necessarily good. So now what's going to happen is it possible that China might use TikTok as a bargaining chip in its negotiations with the incoming Trump administration as far as tariffs go? How will the youth of America react? After all, they have alternatives now. You can watch similar stuff on YouTube. You can watch similar stuff on Instagram. On I think Meta also has Reels is supported on both, if I remember correctly. I'm sorry, guys, I don't really know. I'm not keeping up with all these new changes, new platforms. But there are alternatives. Let me put it that way. Now, TikTok maintains it is not for sale. That means it is saying, I do not intend to divest. but has proposed solutions like Project Texas to wall off US user data from Chinese access. Now, that is very interesting. What is Project Texas? We'll go into that in just a moment. Now, first thing that is going to happen, like I said, is to remove it from app stores, right? The next thing that will happen is that the app itself, the servers are all residing on Oracle platform. Now, what is Oracle platform? What is special about it? Nothing special. They basically did something similar to Amazon Web Services, AWS. Amazon is the biggest one, but there are now competitors to that. You have Microsoft, you have Google, you have also got Oracle, and I think there are some other smaller entities also. Nothing as big as Amazon. Now, what will happen is, if these things are removed, you would still have it on your phone. So that is possible that Oracle might be asked to turn off the backend, which means the existing app on your phone would stop working. It's a different matter if you use some sort of a VPN and then access TikTok, but just a little bit, you have to jump through a few hoops, and I don't think it is so easy to do it. And if you still end up doing that, the performance may not be very fast. So essentially, video content has to be very fast. That part takes a big hit. So essentially, TikTok is gone. They are still saying that they are not going to divest. So that's an interesting twist here. Now, Trump, once an advocate for banning TikTok, now vows to save it, suggesting potential US-led acquisition or other solutions. I mean, sometimes Trump will say things, he'll go back and change his mind also. I think the point here is national security, not politics of the United States. And TikTok was grabbing everything they can. It's not just an isolated case. I'm curious why companies like Amazon and Apple have not yet revealed that their data also was hacked. Either party can request a rehearing by DC Appeals Court or escalate the case to the Supreme Court. All these things are going to happen. But usually in the United States, the higher courts will rule fairly quickly. Unless there is some new information that completely overturns the original verdict, the verdict usually stands. This is usual. 170 million US users might start feeling the pinch if TikTok stops supporting the enhancements as well as going off on air. So this is where things stand, and a lot of talk being done. And why this is important as far as America is concerned is that this has been a routine thing. We still know that there are many Chinese police stations that are keeping watch over Chinese nationals working in the United States and in many other countries also. The one in New York has been identified and outed. We still don't know where the offices are in San Francisco, for example, or LA, the bigger cities. We do know that some of the Falun Gong protesters who had showed up to protest against Xi Jinping were beaten up by hoodlums who were brought in from Southern California to San Francisco. And two of them had to go to the hospital because they got bones broken. All this is happening in the United States. This is not freedom of speech. So somewhere the California state is ripe for dogeness, DOGE. They are ripe for DOGE. There are lots of what I would call as underperforming and non-performing entities in this state. I hope all those people also face the axe. I am fed up with some of the things that they do here. Anyway, so that's all I have. Let's take some questions now, please. Venkataraghavan Venkataraman. TikTok started it all. Meta has taken it to a different level with his FB Reels and Insta, especially in terms of obscenity. Thank you. It's very sad if that's what it is being used for. Next, please. Maulana Haramuddin Al-Harami. Now what will happen to my TikTok conversion campaign? Well, it stopped in India 2-3 years ago, if I remember correctly, or even longer than that. So next one, please. Malika wants to know, even Insta needs to be banned. It has become so annoying and nuisance. Our children are spoiling. I don't know. I haven't seen it, Malika. Facebook has lost a lot of its luster lately. I mean, I don't even go there unless I want to see how a particular video that was posted there is doing. And I don't know. They have not. We have not had much success there. We have a lot of subscribers, or what they call as followers, and also likers, but we don't get a lot of views. Unfortunate that they have shadow banned us. Anyway, so there are 3 or 4 pages, and all of them are shadow banned. And all I can say is, God bless you. So that's all we have. Thank you so much, and we'll be back again with updates on TikTok. Namaskar.